You're listening to the podcast where we talk about life, sports, family, and everything in between. Welcome to Just Talking Out Loud with your hosts, Ron and Terry.
All right, welcome to the podcast, Just Talking Out Loud. I'm Ron.
I'm Terry.
And we want to welcome you to our first episode. And I've been talking about this.
For years.
Yeah, for a long time. And then I wait until we get over COVID. And then we decide to do it. So we probably sound
bad.
Not great. But you had it worse than I did. But anyway, we're going to talk about that in a second. But what we'd like to do, or what I'd like to do, is kind of feel how we'd like the podcast to go. When we say Just Talking Out Loud, we're bringing up our life as new grandparents, just things that might have happened to us during the week. We'll do this weekly, we hope. But that depends on watching our grandchild too. And don't forget the grand dogs.
And the grand dogs. This week, there's not much to talk about. I slept for 3 days.
Well, we could talk about you sleeping. But our life is what, maybe hopefully bring the kids in. That's what we were hoping.
Yeah.
You
never know when they'll call. Right.
We might have, maybe they'll call in and we'd do something that way. That would be easier probably for them rather than bringing them all, because one lives in Pittsburgh. He's the one with him and Lauren have our first grandchild, Fenn, who we're excited to be grandparents. And we'll talk about that too, as the podcast go. But it was funny because we had been healthy. We're going to go back to COVID. I'm going to skip over and we're going to talk about what we went through this week. And we've gone almost about 2 years, really.
Without
Well, you had something way before. But I think this time you had
2 years ago, exactly.
Yeah. But you had it worse this time than I don't think I had it as bad as you did. You had more of a
fever.
Well, it's all sinus too, huh?
Yeah, I still have the sinuses.
We did call the doctor, but we didn't have to go to the hospital, which is good. And how we got it was kind of weird because how many people we had known
had it and we never got it.
Well, and I'm saying just recently, like we didn't realize, we were masked around Fenn anyway. Mm-hmm. And we didn't know until afterwards, but RJ came over with Fenn on that Sunday. And then that Monday, I met somebody, hadn't seen in a while, shook his hand for like maybe 40 seconds and found out the next day he had COVID. And you knew somebody at your work that found out they had COVID. And it seemed like it was just like more people we were around, even though, well, you were around that person a lot more than I was around the one that was 40 seconds. But you seemed to you got it Wednesday night is when you came down with it. And that was, you said the chills and the fever. And I was good until Sunday, but I should have known if you're going to get it, and more than likely, you can quarantine in your own house, but how well can you really?
Safe.
Yeah. How safe could you really be? Honestly. But I think we're feeling a little bit better.
Janet's whole house had it except the kid.
Yeah. Some people, my son and our future daughter-in-law, they're both vaccinated and they had it before us. And I'm not trying to get into that. We're not going to, we're probably going to touch on things here and there with vaccinated, but I'm not going to get into it. Our stance has always been, if you do your homework, you want to get it, by all means,
get it. It's
free, right? It's a free country. You should be allowed to make the decision whether you want to get the vaccine or not. I think that's what it should be. And when you know it, our first episode comes down, the Supreme Court says that they're blocking the business side of the mandate, but the medical, they're still going to go through it. So if you work at a medical facility, you'd have to have an exemption or whatever. But anyway. But
now what will qualify an exemption? In other words,
religious,
if your doctor, if your doctor says something medically that you shouldn't get it?
Yeah, some places, some turn them down, some don't. But yeah, if you have a medical excuse and they might accept it. Now that the Supreme Court, I think it would be hard to lose your job. Well, maybe it wouldn't.
I just think it's crazy even for medical if they're allowed to if they're willing to work with it, even though they're not vaccinated, which sounds kind of crazy, but
they were doing it before.
Yeah, they were. I mean, there was no vaccine out when it first came out.
Right.
And they were out there
putting themselves on the line.
Yep, every day. And then some of them lost their jobs after they put themselves on the line every day. That's just not right.
That's crazy. Yeah, I think that's crazy. But we're, like I said, we're doing okay. We're getting over it, and we apologize if we do sound
bit nasally.
Yeah, probably very nasally. We'll try to work that out in the production tomorrow. So basically, when we're talking out loud like we are now, we're just talking out loud, talking about things, anything that pops up. But we were talking about, I was thinking about this, and I don't know why, but this came up. How many people do you think still have a waterbed in their house?
Very few.
And sleep in it.
We do.
Yeah, we do. Maybe they have a waterbed, but not the waterbed mattress.
That's true. They put
because you could put a mattress inside.
The waterbed.
Because we've had the waterbed for how long? We've been married, almost 37 years.
I got it for high school graduation.
Well, then I'd say we've had it for a long time. 1982. She don't want to say it out loud and give away our age, but I just was curious because, and we still have no, it's not, I don't know how many mattresses we've been through, and that it sounds bad because it's going to make it sound like we're,
No, because we've only been through two or three in the whole has it been 30, 40
You don't think
years.
It's been more than that?
No.
Waterbed mattress? Yeah, you might be right.
One when
in
Zachary
37
was little.
Years?
When Zachary was little, you kept saying he peed on you.
Yeah, I know. I thought
it was the waterbed leaking.
It was either that or I had an issue because I was all wet. It wasn't, but...
And it was the waterbed.
It was the waterbed.
And only once since then, I think.
Probably shouldn't have had you wear heels that day. No, I'm just kidding. Not really. But yeah, I just wondered. I mean, I wonder how many people actually still have a waterbed. It'd be interesting, if you get a chance, if you're listening and maybe you still have one, put it in the notes. Let us know because it'll be fun to talk about the next time. That maybe you still have a waterbed, not with the mattress in it, still have a waterbed mattress. And we have the full motion. We got the we really let the motion go.
And the heater, you can crank it up really high whenever your back hurts.
Yeah, but then we also have I think we've both become used to, I might have to get another one, a heating pad. The heating pad has become my friend.
Well, this week was a rough week.
It was, yeah, it was.
When
we
you
were
get the
splitting.
chills, that heating pad really comes in handy.
And luckily, we were like opposites. I was getting the chills, you weren't, and vice versa, so we were able to use that. But hopefully you're not getting sick, whoever's listening. You just be safe. I mean, that's the main thing, is try to be safe. But anyway, that's our life for this week, is we've just now getting into this. And this has been tough because for 2 years, I've been trying to different names. We're trying to come up with a name for the podcast, and we were going to use our last name, and then people already have that, and their name's not even our last name. But so we tried that, and then I was online and trying to figure out what are we going to talk about? Do we have to have some sort of substance to talk about, And I thought, well, why can't we just talk out loud about things that might have happened during the week, or and of course this week's a little different, but we jot things down, we come on, we talk, and maybe it touches something that is into your life that we're bringing to you, and maybe we can bring some laughter, maybe we can I don't know, fix the world 1 minute at a time. But that my purpose of it was just to do something fun for us too. I think we don't do enough together other than a puzzle. And you pretty much
cards.
Yeah, we play cards, but you almost finished the puzzle, 1,000-piece puzzle that I can't see. My eyes are horrible, but she's good with puzzles.
You got the whole water,
I didn't.
The whole water part.
Well, not whole, but anyway, yeah. We put puzzles together. So I thought we could talk about life, about our kids. We're very proud of our kids. We've got 3 great kids, and we could not be more blessed than they're all successful. They're all happy.
A production to society.
They are. They're just they're great kids. We're very, like I said, we're very blessed to have great jobs. I have a great job, and you have a good job, man. It's a good job, you know. And we're going to stay away from that too, you know, because you just never know what, you know, you just want to, but we do have great jobs, and we have jobs, so that's important to know too. And especially in this time, there are people that are struggling.
Jobs.
Yeah. And trying
lost their jobs
or lost their
through
job
all
over
this.
something stupid.
Over something stupid like a
shouldn't-
vaccination,
Yeah.
and you didn't think you should get one for some reason.
I mean, it just makes no sense, but anyway. But so my whole thing was going into this, I'd watch a lot of videos, and guys would say, well, you need to have an idea. And the idea that kept popping up for me was, like, I would write something down, and I would say, okay, let's talk about Fenn and how he, you know, and his whole circumstance. I mean, he was born 3 months early, right?
Yeah.
May 30th.
Premature, yeah.
It was premature. He weighed 3 pounds, 4 or 5 ounces, something like that. And he was tiny. We didn't get to see him, obviously, because of
For
the
40
COVID.
some days,
Yeah.
we didn't get to see him.
And they were in the hospital a total of like 53 days.
53 days. We did get to see him once he was in the Lemieux Center.
Yeah, when they called and said, hey, how would you, that was
We
a,
dropped everything
oh,
that day.
yeah. And I'm not a Pittsburgh, I don't like to drive through Pittsburgh. That's probably saying it mildly, how much I do not like
Very mildly.
driving through Pittsburgh.
He even tells me how I'm allowed to drive through Pittsburgh. I'm not allowed to take 28 anymore.
Pittsburgh is, I mean, people love it. People love the city life. I just don't know how you can, when RJ used to live on the south side and we had to drive around the block 7 times
To find a parking
to find a
spot.
parking space. That drove me nuts. Anyway, he has a house, and we do have a parking space, you know,
No.
kind of. And so anyway, he was born 3 pounds, 5 ounces, and when we saw him, he was just so little, and but he was always doing pretty good, always. And now after he's
All the
7
wires
months,
and the little
yeah, all the wires he had,
oxygen,
yep, the oxygen, and when we held him, he's just so tiny.
And I get to feed him that first time.
Yeah, and to hold him for that very first time as a grandparent, oh my gosh, what a feeling! It was just you didn't want to leave.
No.
You didn't want to leave, and so we get through that, and then they finally get to come, and you could see our kids. You know, and well, let me say this: I had been praying for a grandchild, and I know that was probably. I mean, as a parent, you want to have. I mean, some people do. I do. I like to have grandchildren.
Children, yes.
But it's probably not fair to push that on your kids, because if they don't want to have, if they're happy, then that's really what matters. But
yet I can't see my life without children.
yeah, me too. I love my kids. It's
The
a great.
kids
but-
were the best part of my life. I got to grow up with them, and they just gave me more reason
Yeah.
to be a good person.
No, I mean, they just mean the world to me.
Oh yeah.
When we get a chance to talk to them,
And
and
I can't imagine going through life and never having kids. I just can't imagine.
yeah, well, and there's some people that can't, you know, but they can adopt, and maybe other kids will want it. I don't know. I mean, but again, my main thing is that they're happy. Mm-hmm. If they're happy, then I'm happy, because that means they're doing what they want to do, and you know, our daughter-in-law, she's. Oh, excuse me. See, this is what I was afraid could happen. I'm going to have to edit that out later. Or maybe leave it in. It's called Real. But she's a doctor, physical therapy. She works very long hours, but she loves her work. She works with kids. She works with adults. And we're proud of her, because she works her butt off and she knows her stuff. And you know, they're happy. Got a nice house. They got great jobs. Or he just retired.
Did he?
Yeah,
Did he officially
I mean,
retire?
I don't know if he officially.
Well, he didn't go back to his job. He's been working.
Yeah.
He said they're not paying him enough.
Well, whatever. But what my whole thought is, he just, you know, take some time. It's going to be the winter of Nathan, so we're just going to let Nathan.
He's
gonna-
becoming chef.
Yeah, he's
Nathan.
cooking. I wish he'd come over here, because I am not a cook. He likes to cook. He had
That's the
barbecue
truth.
ribs. I am not a cook.
That's the truth.
If you want to learn something, you're going to learn on this podcast some of the things. I don't like driving in Pittsburgh. I do it because my grandson lives there. I don't have any choice. I got to get there. And I don't like to cook. I'm not a big fan of cooking. And most of them, I don't think Zachary likes to cook. He's our youngest son, is Zachary. And we're hoping to get him on. I think we can get him on because he's not far from here and he likes to eat. So he will be here more than likely anyway. He's just away because of all the COVID crap we've been going through. But so we're hoping to have the kids on. And like I said, we're blessed. And when Fenn was born, it was, I know I'm jumping around and I really was hoping I wouldn't do that, but it's kind of happening because it's exciting to talk about things because I in my mind, there's things that I wanted to bring up and I should jot these down and next time we'll do it. While the next one, I already have it planned for the next one and I'm not going to tell you what it is because then it'll get you all frazzled, but it's going to be fun. So you need to tune in to the next one for sure. It's going to be a lot of fun, I think. But as we were saying, we're holding our grandchild. He got to come home and watching him grow to now, 20 pounds?
Yes.
He has his first tooth coming in. He is the most pleasant baby.
He is pleasant, happy all the time. Will always smile for you.
Always.
Always has a smile for you.
It's just, he is... Well, he says, Lauren says, he makes you want to have another one. Well, if you had the opposite, of course, if he was crying all the time, you probably wouldn't want to know.
He actually went to Children's sick.
And,
And they couldn't believe that he was sick and still smiling at them.
Still smiling.
They still could not believe how pleasant he was, even though he was sick.
Well, we saw a video yesterday where he got up and his arm was stuck out the crib, and he couldn't move. Yeah, he couldn't get out of it.
Stuck like that.
And she came in and he's smiling up a storm. She says, "What are you doing?" He's just smiling. He is one of the most pleasant babies. I did get him to laugh. He's got the best laugh, and I can't wait to see. I've missed it. I miss him big time because we have not seen him in
a week.
Yeah, and who knows what's going to happen this
Sunday
weekend.
Sunday will be 2 weeks.
Yeah, so hopefully. We did do a video. What do you call it? A message, whatever. We're not good at it.
Video messaging.
We finally figured out how to do it after she called for the 5th time, I think it was. And then she says, call me. Yeah, right. We can't even answer the call, and you want us to call them. But we are, like I said, we're excited. You can tell we're excited about being grandparents. We're going to talk about that. We're excited about our kids. We're going to talk about our kids and what they bring to our life, which we already said. It was, without them, our life would be pretty
boring.
It would be boring. Yeah, you need some excitement.
Our life would be pretty boring.
I mean, we're bored for the most part, and that's why we're just talking to each other out loud, but hence why. And that's funny because that came out, that name, when I had sent it to you, just talking out loud, and then I had some things wrote up, and I had the I don't know what you call it, the artwork done. And I sent it, and I didn't say anything. I sent to RJ, and I sent it to you, and I sent it to Zach. And I sent 3 different kinds, and you all picked the same one, which was really interesting, which made me think this is it. And RJ and them liked the name because, we are talking out loud. We're just talking about things, talking about life. I told you you'd be uncomfortable because it's tough to sit like that. See, we are also trying to figure out how to. We don't really. I have a radio station that's online, FM 7 The Drive, if you're interested. And that room is very small, and I thought, well, maybe we could do it there, and then that would be really tight to do it.
But if we ever get all 3 of the boys here with us, and maybe their wives.
Yeah.
Well, 2 of them are married, and
I need more mics, but which is fine.
But we could share mics. We could put 2 and 2 and 2. If we had to.
If we had to do it.
I mean, they can lean forward when they have something to say.
Yeah.
If they have something good to say.
Well, they're not. We can buy a couple if we have to, but that's down the line. Hopefully, because they always say, after watching all these videos, if you get to 7, that's important. If you get to number 7 podcast, then you've done something. Because usually they say you never get to 7. You never make it.
Why, you don't have enough to talk about?
I don't know if they just lose interest. And that's what I kind of worry about because our life is, I mean, even though we work, we come home, And I'm hoping we can find that niche somehow to do this. And I don't know. I'm hoping we can. And I think if people tune in and say, hey, well, let's talk about this. What are your feeling about that? Listen, our feelings won't get hurt if you don't want to listen. That's fine too. But we'd love you to tune in, give us ideas, something that you want to hear our views on. Doesn't mean we're right or wrong. I think you talked about that. I thought this was interesting.
And I don't think our kids will always agree with our opinions on certain things.
And that's okay. And you said that the other day. You said, why are we so, we're so divided? We have a thought process, whether it's vaccination, unvaccination, whether it's Biden, Trump, whatever. Why can't we don't talk to anybody anymore. We have, instead of listening and converse like we are right now. There's things that we may not agree on, but, we're married and, we make up, it's called make up sex later. But my whole thing is you got to be able to talk to one another. You said that earlier. You said that we need to find a way to sit down and talk, and it's bad.
Some people are very opinionated, very, my kid's not doing this, or they think that it should be their way or the highway. And they get very upset if things don't go their way. Life's too short for it.
Yeah, I think if we sat down and you might still not agree, right? You might go through all the processes and listen to each other, but you should be able to talk and agree to disagree and still move. There's families that are broke up because of
they don't even
politics or all this stuff that's going on. That's crazy. That is crazy. And RJ and I have had differences in how he sees it and how I see it. And I listen. I want to hear his side. I'm hoping to get him because I think he has some very poignant ideas, and it's a little out there at times, but and then Nathan's different too. If we get to him on and get his opinion, the dynamics in a household can be different, but we can all still be a family.
Nathan's has had a different work perspective than most people, running and hiring and doing things like that, on what to look for probably than we have. Yeah. We have not had to think about those things where he's had to hire and then he's had to let people go because they've done stupid things. And he's like, that was stupid. But he's had to let them go. And
yeah, he's seen not just the working, because the way he started in the oil industry, way down, and then he worked his way up, become boss, and he's seen it all, and he's done it, and so he's worked from the bottom, and then had to, like you said, been a boss too, and that work ethic. They all have great work ethic. Again, I'm not taking any credit for it because it's God's blessed us with some very great kids that respect people. And I think that's something that's gone today, is our kids aren't respectful of just people. And I know there's some people out there that don't deserve respect, but
a lot of people are not respectful of their own parents and their own family. And they don't feel that their kids should have to do anything.
Yeah.
And I don't know where that came from, because I still feel that if our kids needed to move back in with us, I think they would be respectful of our wishes. They may not do everything we want to do, but they would be respectful of the main things.
Well,
letting us know if they were coming home and stuff like that. But
there's always our door's always open. Mm-hmm. We didn't ask for anything. RJ moved out when he was out of high school.
To college,
he said, "I'm going to college. I'm out. I'm going to Pittsburgh." He loves Pittsburgh. He loved the city. And Zachary's kind of the same way, although I'm not sure. I don't know if he loves the architecture. Zachary does.
He wanted to go to New York, but when I told him we weren't paying that kind of money for an apartment, and he still wouldn't have room to take his musical equipment.
I'm not sure anybody wants to live in New York right now, the way things are going there. But anyway, so to be honest, it's funny because we had talked about how long we want to do a podcast, and we've really jumped around with our life, and I'm sorry about that, but that it's a lot of work for 2 years. It's kind of just flowing out, and we are almost done, believe it or not, with this first broadcast. And again, what we'd like to do is just talk about life. we'll be a little more structured next week because I have an idea of what we're going to talk about. And hopefully you can tune in. And I want to thank you for joining us for Just Talking Out Loud. May you have a great week. And Terry, I'll see you a little bit later. God bless.
And hopefully our week will be better this coming.
Yes. And you have a great week too. We'll see you. Thanks.
Right.
Bye.
Bye.